Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the technical analysis of Bitcoin mining stocks, talking about Marathon, Riot, CleanSpark, Cypher, Terawolf, and some others. So let's get into it. And starting off with CNN, fear and greed, we are still down into extreme fear. And on pievesting.com, we dipped down into fear, but now are in low greed. Going over to crypto fear and greed, we're still in the fear area as well. We were in extreme fear not too long ago. As you can see, we have sort of a wedge formation coming up here, and we have been in this downtrend we've been talking about for a while, but we have been making these higher lows. So if that continues, we might start to see switch to the uptrend if we start seeing higher highs, higher lows from these points right here. Going over to the alt season index, nothing's really changed, higher low. We want this to hold and not fall over. So as of right now, possible good value in the markets. And I also do videos every week on the Bitcoin rainbow chart, current crypto price action, and we recently touched the upper end of the accumulate zone. So let's just take a quick look at Bitcoin, where we are right now. So Bitcoin on the daily, obviously we had that big 30% correction, came back up on the daily to the 100 and the 50-day moving averages, and now it is settled on the 200. And as you can see here, a couple red dojis, and dojis just mean that the market's undecided. Let me get a sip of my coffee here. That the market's undecided and it's waiting for which way to go. So my bet is that because we've had this bounce down, that we might get another test up here before truly deciding whether we're going to test the upper end of that channel or not. Right now on the stochastic RSI, it was looking like the blue is going to flip over and into the orange, and when that happens, when the blue gets under the orange, we typically go down. But as you can see, they're just both riding up, so it's possible it does one of these, gets back up here, and then rolls over, and then we see whether we retest the lower end of the channels or not. So right now, Bitcoin, just we're waiting to see what's going to happen. On the weekly, you can see here pretty much the same thing. Let me get that out of the way. So a little red candle. Again, we have dojis on the daily, so undecided. Anyways, let's get into Bitcoin mining stocks. And something I talked about last week that I think I need to talk about more, and this definitely goes with the alt season index. In prior alt seasons, in 2017, there were only so many alts. Here, obviously, there was thousands more, and it's gotten even more ridiculous today. What I truly like about Bitcoin mining stocks is it reminds me of the days of 2017 when I got into crypto, because there are so few of them. And one of the nice things about Bitcoin mining stocks is that we can even take a look at their financials and their balance sheet. Last week, we looked at Cypher and saw that it had a 5 or 6 to 1 total assets to liabilities. And that would be good for any stock. So, we're trying to find good value here for our Bitcoin mining stocks. And it's nice that we can see this information, and it's not just another rug pull, hopefully, knock on wood, it's not another rug pull like so many altcoins are. So on the daily, you can see the stochastic RSI is still downward. Now it is getting oversold, so hopefully starts to form a base. But we drew this line here on the daily. We were on the weekly, never mind. We drew this line here on the weekly. We did tap it. We are right underneath that 0.5 fib level, as you can see right here. And we are also underneath these moving averages that were support, but are now resistance. So we are testing the downward areas of this trend line, just like Bitcoin, how it's in that downward ascending channel. I don't need to show you guys that. You know what it looks like. So as you can see here, the blue, even on the daily, flipped underneath just momentarily. So is it possible we test this trend line at around the high 13 level? Sure. But overall, Mara looks like a good dollar cost average opportunity to me. If it did get under this trend line, then you would have to take a look at all this price action here as well as this 382 fib. So we're talking about 950 to 11 bucks. So if we do have a downward correction there, we'll see what happens if it comes down to this trend line here, but it should get a nice bounce. Then of course we've seen this kind of upward ascending trend line right here, getting towards the 618, which it hasn't done the best job in holding, around 24 bucks. So that's what we got going on for Mara. Next, let's take a look at RIOT. And in the Bitcoin, the rainbow chart video, one of the things I talked about is confirmation of times to buy. Guys, that's why I have the stochastic RSI on, as well as I do have these moving averages and other indicators you can use. So I think, by the way, I'm going to take the stochastic RSI off for a second. This is a nice indicator to use. Again, when the blue starts to flip above the orange on the weekly, not on the monthly, on the weekly, right now it's still falling down, good time to buy. But if you're looking for confirmation, whenever we're in a down market, there's two buy and sell signals I use. This one's more of a leading indicator, the 1020 MA. You guys are used to me using that. UT bot alerts is more of a confirming buy sell signal indicator, less prone to fake outs. And right now you can see on the weekly, no confirmation of the buy. I would wait for, again, the stochastic RSI to start flipping up, make sure we get a buy signal, and if I like the levels, then hey, go at it. And I don't need to perfectly time the bottom and perfectly sell the top and get the 100% of profits that move had. That's not what I'm looking for as an investor or in the world of crypto, more of a trade investor. If I can get 70% of the profits in the middle and wait for those confirmation signals, I'm fine with that. So that's the way I try to reduce risk and hedge my bets. So sorry for sipping in your all's ears. So with this, as well as Bitcoin, it's in this downward channel. Should Bitcoin get underneath its channel again? I would not doubt if RIOT did and some of these other altcoins and mining stocks. And down here, you'd be looking for these levels around the $6 to $7 range. Now, right now, it's in the mid sevens. I think it's a good dollar cost average opportunity. Now, again, you can wait for confirmation, just like I showed you guys with the stochastic RSI with the buy signal. One good thing about waiting for confirmation is that you are reducing risk and you're not catching a possible falling knife. But at the same time, we've tested this trend line a few times already. So could it roll back down? Yes, it could. Would I be dollar cost averaging in everything I had right here? No, I wouldn't, but I do like this area as a base. Again, throw on those indicators. It's okay to be patient. You don't have to perfectly time the bottom. Again, we're looking for 70%, 60% of those profits that meet in the middle. We don't have to get the very tops and bottoms. So right there, looking pretty good to me. Next, let's go to CleanSpark, CLSK. And CleanSpark kind of rolled over a bit more than the other ones from what I can see. And we did have this macro fib drawn, this fib tool. We draw from the prior high to the low. And as you can see, we've been bouncing off this trend line. And I do wonder, guys, this isn't too far away. If this breaks down through this 100 moving average, not only do we have the 0.5 fib at around 857, but we have this trend line around $7-ish. So do watch for that. That's $7, that 382 fib at 6. That whole area would have to hold. If the candle body got here and a wick down here, I wouldn't care. But as long as the candle bodies are staying on the trend line, if we get bearish there. But of course, if we start to get a bounce, we have to get through this 786 level at $21, which it tested and was slowly, we talked about this actually, how this was slowly drowning, is like someone getting their head above water and then they didn't have the strength anymore and then boom. So right now, holding on good support on the weekly. And again, throw on those indicators I talked about, but not the worst area to dollar cost average in. Just don't be surprised if it comes down here to the 0.5. If you're willing to be patient, or maybe dollar cost average in a little bit more on the way down or when we have confirmation. Next, let's take a look at Cypher. Cypher is the one we did a little bit more of a deep dive last week, and we talked about its financials, its balance sheet. Today, maybe we'll do that with Terawolf, since I have a lot of Terawolf fans in the comments. So, welcome Terawolf guys. You're coming next. So, as far as Cypher, I do like how this is held up more than, well, CleanSpark and RIOT, to name a couple of the miners. There's more we'll talk about later. I do like how this is holding up above the moving averages on the weekly, showing good strength. We also have the 618 fib right here. So I like this level. Again, you can throw on those indicators, wait for more confirmation. But if you dollar cost average in a little bit, I would not fault you one bit. If we do test this area, you're trying to scoop up some deeper value. 373 is right on that fib. That'd be an area to target. But if it falls and breaks through there, oh boy, you'd probably be looking at this $3 range, high $2 range, even mid, at around the 0.5. So was never quite able to truly break. Well, it did break, but hold above the 786. So that'd be something to watch for. Next, let's get into Terawolf. And we're going to go to MarketWatch, and we're going to take a look at Terawolf's financials. So MarketWatch, it has become one of my favorite sites for as far as looking at balance sheets. And there's so much more we could get into the weeds into. And guys, that's up to you if you want to do that. Do your own research. Obviously, don't just rely on what I'm showing you. Literally type out your own plan. So Terawolf, we're on the balance sheet. We're going to take a look at the trends in the assets, liabilities. So current assets, you can see we had a big dip down, back up. Assets, there is that slight downward trend, but we're at around 60 million. But total assets in an upward trend. We want to see upward trends in assets, and it's at 380. So we have 60 and 380 total current and total. And around total current, we have 154. We have an uptrend in liabilities. So total current assets or liabilities to assets, we don't want to see that. We want to see a positive ratio, this number higher than the other. So right now, the fact that it's 2.5 times less, that is concerning, guys. Total liabilities at 155. Number's really close here, by the way. But the fact this did come down in total liabilities by 50 million, that's good. The fact that current liabilities came up, I'd have to do my own research, see what that's about. So 155 total. We have total assets at 380. So at least that part of the ratio is good, is that we are over 2 to 1 from that perspective. So yeah, you would want to do more research and look into why that is. What's going on with Terawolf, new company. Research is out there, and you want to be, again, unbiased. If you're buying Terawolf, take a look at, do research, and at the very least, be able to find what are the 3 most positive things that you like about it, 3 most negative things, and then go from there. So Terawolf, we do have this trend line, guys, that after we broke out of it, well, this wedge formation, I would not be surprised if we came down and tested it, and I would still be bullish past that. Now, on the weekly, it tagged the 382 fib, and as well as the 50-week moving average. But right now, the candles are resting on the 100-week moving average because it did sell off so hard, was underneath it. Wasn't able to break the 200-week resistance or, truly close consistently above the 0.5. So, if it did fall down to these levels right here at around 280 or $2, I wouldn't be surprised. But bullish case, it really has to hold that 0.5 at 480 and possibly even test that 618 at $8. So, could we be seeing a slight correction move down to these areas? That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. But, right now it is holding support. So, maybe we do test the 0.5 sometime soon. We'll see. And as far as price predictions go, so right now it has a market cap of 1.13 billion. We talked about how at the peak of the bull run last cycle, that RIOT Mara got up to market caps in the mid 20 billions, maybe close to 30 billion. So if we were to get another cycle like this, where we have the bull off top, we have alt season, all that good stuff. And not only would we be looking at possibly testing former all-time highs, but breaking through, we'll take a look at price targets. But at the very least, guys, not all cryptos are guaranteed to get past their former all-time high. So at the very least, I would look at taking some profits around the 786 level. Not financial advice, but if altcoins don't break through that, they don't get higher. And I treat miners like altcoins. But if we are making new all-time highs, here are some price targets. So remember that number we talked about, 20 to 30 billion, and this is at best, in my opinion. If we were to get another alt season, that'd be like a times 20 there. So we're looking at something, 20 times 3, so that'd be around 60, correct? Yeah, so we have the 1618 at around 70. That's probably close to that 20x number. And in the 20 billion mark, if things got stupid bullish and we were hitting the 40 billion, the 2618, man, a lot of people would be getting rich off Terawolf if that were to happen. Now, not saying it's going to, but when we do get alt season, sometimes miners, altcoins, they can pop off. So do make a plan right now if that is to happen, whether end of this year, 4-year cycle, end of next year. Do make a plan right now so you know where you're going to take profits, so you don't get emotional, so you don't get greedy and keep holding and miss out on taking great profits when you have the opportunity to. So do set a plan right now on how much and where you plan on taking profits if you are buying down in these ranges. So next, let's go to Bit Digital. We're going to start flying through these. Bit Digital, I do like how this one held up as well. Again, Bitcoin at that big 30% sell-off. I do like how this has held up. Again, we have good support on the 100-week moving average, even held on the 50. Did wick down, kind of like Link, one of my favorite altcoins, did wick down through that 258 level. So if any of you were watching these fib levels and you set a buy order, which you can do on sites like Robinhood, you can set a buy order, you may have been able to sneak up a rare opportunity of getting $2.60 Bit Digital. Now, it's always possible it could come down here again. I mean, why not? We have 1, 2. Hey, maybe we're forming a inverse head and shoulders and getting ready to pop off, somewhere to the $7.50, $8 range. So bullish scenario, guys, we do have to look at these. Overall, yes, we have this lower high, even though that was a higher high right here. But we do have this downward trend with the 200, and it's been honoring that more. So have to get above and stay above the 200-week moving average. Have to get above, stay above the 0.5 at 420. But right here, not bad value. And then, of course, we have the 382 Fib there at 260. Below that, if it broke under 220, then you're looking at the lower to mid $1 range. Let's go to Bitfarms. And Bitfarms, man, look at that. Holding support. Holding that trend line that we were talking about. So, this is, we have a lot of confluence coming through here. And, if it all of a sudden starts to break well under this trend line, we're going to want that 0.5 to hold at around $2. But it could always come back up to it. A lot of the same sort of analysis as I just did with Bit Digital. We had a higher high and then a lower high. Weren't really able to stay above this fib line, which is 618. But we do have a lot of nice supports. Those red candles, I want to see it start flipping soon. If not, you could see something like you did back here. But it did get down to that trend line and have a good bounce. But now, man, this trend line, you want it to hold. And if not, it wouldn't be good, obviously. So we want to see if this thing can continue. But, good support. Don't hate it. Again, you can wait for confirmation with those indicators like I was telling you guys about. So 2 more, Iron and Cores. I'm curious to see where Cores is going. So Iron, man, it had that big move up off that trend line and then came all the way back down. But it is still going up. Higher lows, and right now holding good support at the 50 and the 100. If it did test down somewhere in this trend line in the high $6 range, great. If it breaks underneath that, then you'd be looking at the mid $5 range for next support. Next target that we want to hit and break through is that high $13 mark. You can see people are taking profits there. So possible take profit area again, but if it is a breakthrough, then we're testing former all-time highs. So this level is important. And right now, overall, we're back to that trend line. So hopefully it can have a good rebound soon and get back up there. But again, this high $4 to mid $5 range, I'd be watching that. Last one, Core Scientific. And Core Scientific, we drew a fib. We're like, hey, we had an upward move. Let's draw a fib. It came down, bounced off the 382, came up, and now it's only at the 236. So, guys, this is what I'm telling you about with new altcoins, new miners. It's hard to get a competitive advantage TA-wise. Yes, if you're a pure trader, you're looking at the 1 minute time frame and all that stuff, sure. But if we're looking out on the horizon, you got to really trust your research and everything you see about a project. And again, in the world of crypto, be careful. Some of the research can look so damn promising, and then I've seen some of the most promising, great details about different altcoins for them to just disappear during the next cycle. So, if it sounds too good to be true, again, you want to weigh what are the 3 most positive things, 3 most negative, and then weigh them, and if your gut says it's too good to be true and you feel yourself getting greedy, just maybe take a few days before you decide to put your money into it. So on the weekly, we have that sell signal. Let's go to the daily. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, we're coming back down. Holding some good support, but if it did break back under, of course, maybe, it gets some, it would stop here around the 7 mark. But if it got below that fib, that 382, like it did before, bearish case scenario, you might be able to, like, let's say Bitcoin did have another big correction and even got down to, like, I don't know, it's 100-week moving average around 45K. If Bitcoin did something like that, then and we had a big fall off, then 618. But as far as bullish, of course, we have to get above its former all-time high, and then who knows. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you all are having a good week. No videos coming out probably the next 2 days, but I'll be back for a stock video on Friday or maybe even a live stream. We had a good live stream last week. So thanks for watching. And yeah, I think some good opportunities for dollar cost averaging. But again, look at some of those indicators I talked about. This UT bot alert, buy sell signal indicator, as well as the stochastic RSI, flipping positive on the weekly. Those are a couple nice things you can look for to eat out, a good portion of profit. So anyways, yeah, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.